Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Thank you so much for joining me today for another training webinar. Today about segmenting your database and sending targeted group messages from Nimble. My name is Michaela Underdahl and I'm Nimble's community manager. We are recording today's session, so everybody who registered for today's webinar will receive the recording. Today, we'll cover 6 different scenarios of using our segmentation, and we'll also explore how to send targeted group messages. We'll also spend a few minutes at the end of the session to answer your questions. So what is Nimble segmentation? It's basically a search that allows you to segment your database. So when you first start with Nimble, you import your contacts from all these different places. You import contacts from your Outlook or Google contacts from different, maybe different applications you use for your business. It can also be various different CSV files. It could be your LinkedIn connections that you also export and import using a CSV file, or all kinds of spreadsheets you may have been using before you started using Nimble as your CRM. So once you get all these contacts in your Nimble database, you might and should be doing something with all these contacts you have in there. So that's why we developed our segmentation feature, so you can search on all the fields that we already have in Nimble, as well as based on all the custom fields that you may have created. And segmentation goes hand in hand with our group message feature, because segmentation allows you to create targeted groups. And then once you have the targeted groups, the natural next step sometimes is sending a group message. Nimble currently allows you to send up to 100 group messages per user per day, with the clock resetting at midnight. This all depends on the email provider you have, and my colleague Megan will be sharing a link to a support article that talks about all these send limits in more detail. We do have upgrades available, so if you're interested in sending larger groups, you can email us at billing@nimble.com and request upgrades to 200 or 300 messages per user per day. The upgrade to 200 extra messages would be $10 per seat per month, and if you want 300 extra messages, it would be $20 per seat per month. If you have any questions about this, please let us either know at care@nimble.com or marketing@nimble.com. So here we are in our contacts tab inside of Nimble. So when I was talking about when you first start with Nimble and you import contacts from all these different places, this is where they are stored. You would probably go, you would probably click on the tab that says contacts, and you would land on this page. On the left side, you can see that you can do some super basic segmentation. You can just click on the tags that we have on the left side. So the first one will show you all your contacts you have in Nimble. But Nimble has 2 different types of contact records. One of them is personal contact record, and the other one is a company record, which is very useful when you're communicating with multiple people from one company. You also want to be able to have a record for the company where you keep all the company information, and also Nimble shows you how many contacts associated with the company you have in your database, and then you can go and review their personal contact records. So this view gives you the ability to view just people or just the company records that you have in your Nimble database. Nimble also offers you the option to mark contacts as important, which is really useful in terms of nurturing your contacts. Maybe these are your VIP clients. Maybe these are some journalists that have covered your product or your services in the past and you want to keep in touch with them. Or maybe these are your team members or anybody that is important to you and your business that you would want Nimble to help you to stay in touch with. We also offer you to view all the people that you recently viewed inside of Nimble, or those that were recently added by anybody on your team, those that were recently contacted. So this will actually reset automatically by you sending somebody that you have in your Nimble database an email. It also resets by interacting with them on Twitter. And another option that really helps you to nurture your relationship is our stay in touch feature. So this is, I'm using a test account, so I don't have any stay in touch reminders set right now, but that's something I will be covering during today's session. We also offer, this is quite new feature, we created this tag for remove contacts, because sometimes you remove contacts, and even though we ask you if you're really sure that you want to delete the contact person, maybe you're thinking about something else, you click yes, and later you realize, well, I didn't really mean to delete them. So you can always come here and recover the contacts. So today I prepared 6 scenarios that I personally use to segment our database. So the first one, and let me just ask with how you launch the segmentation. So we reviewed these tags that you can see under the context tab inside of Nimble, but these are just the basic ones. And if you've been a customer for a while, in the past, this is all the segmentation that we offered, but a few years ago, we launched much more robust ones. So you launch it by clicking into the search box on the main bar. And as you can see, these tags pop up. We call these quick filters. These are not the only filters you can use to segment your database. These are just the ones that people commonly use. So the first scenario I prepared for you was using a tag. So using tags in Nimble is an amazing and the easiest way of organizing your contacts. So every time you're importing anybody into Nimble, please attach a tag to them. It will help not only you personally, but anybody on your team. Because when they're reviewing the contact record inside of Nimble, they'll be able to review the tags and see right away how the person got in the database, who imported the person, where they came from, and so on. So the first scenario I prepared was using a tag that I created of our current clients. So these are the people that I tagged as our current clients, and maybe I would like to further refine the search by location, because I'm going to be in Las Vegas next month for a conference, and I would like to actually meet as many of our clients that are located there as possible. So I could select that search. So in this case, it's just Sarah, which is okay. So I could select Sarah and send her a message. I could mark her as important because she is our client. She's definitely important. Earlier today, when I mentioned that I haven't had any stay in touch reminders set up, this is one place inside of Nimble where you can utilize this feature. So I mentioned that Sarah is one of our VIP clients, so I would definitely want to keep an eye on her, and I would say monthly would be okay. So every month, Nimble will send me a reminder that it's time to reach out to Sarah, and it will be up to me if it's Twitter message, phone call, or an email. In case it's a Twitter message or email, Nimble will automatically reset the cycle and automatically record that this has been done. So under the Sarah's contact record, I will be able to locate the email that I sent her or the Twitter message that I exchanged with her. In case it's a phone call, we also offer you an option to log this interaction as a call. So when you're reviewing it, you'll be able to see that, okay, she's been contacted as scheduled. I'm on a good track on nurturing her. So this is the first scenario. The other one that I prepared, let me just delete all these, is again using a tag. So I have this tag of 32 people that I tagged as sales influencers. These people actually got into my Nimble database from Twitter. If you're utilizing Twitter for your business, you might be aware of Twitter's feature called Twitter lists. And it's an amazing feature because it allows you to bring specific groups of people inside of Nimble. So as long as the Twitter list is public, it doesn't matter if you created it personally or you found somebody who already took the time to curate the list, you can import it into Nimble. And that's something that we will also cover in one of our next training webinars in more detail. And if you're interested in learning more, just please let us know in the chat box and we'll send you more information about how to use the Twitter import. So all these sales influencers, and we utilize influencer marketing a lot here at Nimble. So I work with sales influencers a lot. So for the purpose of the campaign that I'm running here, I would like to know who is really, really influential. So all these are influencers, but in Nimble, you can actually search on many different fields. So one that I'm really interested in is learning how many followers on Twitter these people have. So I'll use the followers count here. And let's say I'll do less than 20,000 followers. Okay, so 19 people I tag sales influencer and also have more than 20,000 followers on Twitter. In this case, I could select all of them and tag them in Nimble. They could be top sales influencers. I could also export it into a CSV file if I wanted, and I could send them a group message if I had emails for them. I mentioned that these people got into Nimble from Twitter, so that's why I don't have email addresses for many of them. But email address is actually another great field in Nimble that you can search on. So if I wanted to find just those that I have emails for, I could type email in the search here, and I would select is not empty. Update my search, and it's just our CEO, John Ferrara. So the third scenario that I prepared for you today is, again, using tags. And the reason I'm using tags so much is, again, tags are the easiest way of organizing your contacts in Nimble. So I would highly suggest you look into using them if you're not using them yet. So at Nimble, every time there's an article that is published about us or maybe a team member, we make sure that we add the writer into our database and tag them. Because when we're launching new features, we want to outreach to those that have previously covered our company because they're more likely to cover us again. And on top of that, we also want to have them there to make sure that we touch base with them. Maybe we look into other articles they're writing and then share it across our social platform as type of nurturing the relationship. So in this case, I want to see who are all the writers that have previously covered Nimble that are based in Los Angeles. Okay, so it's just one person, which is fine. In this case, I would actually like to save this segment because as I'm tagging more writers that have covered us in the past, the segment will be automatically updated. So every time you create a segment, it will always be automatically updated as new contacts that match the criteria entered that segment. So these will be writers LA, and all your saved segments will show up here. You can also start those that are important to you. Another cool thing that you can find out using Nimble segmentation is when your team members or your clients have birthdays. So I'm interested in learning maybe who in my database will have birthday this coming quarter. Okay, so it's 3 people. And in this case, I could actually schedule tasks for myself to make sure that I follow up on that day. So I could go onto Marcus's contact record and schedule a task. Due date would be on his actual birthday, and I would assign it to myself. And then at the date of his birthday, I would get reminded that it's time to say happy birthday to him. There's also, when I was covering birthdays, there's also a way to choose specifically the specific range. So let's see if I have somebody in my database whose birthday is coming up. So today's the 31st. Nope. All right. So nobody to wish a happy birthday to, unfortunately. So in Nimble, you have the ability to create custom fields. So if the custom fields that you see on a contact record are not sufficient for you, and these would be those would be the fields like first name, last name, company, title, birthday, email, phone numbers, or Skype ID, person's address, any URLs, description of theirs, and so on. If this is not sufficient information for you, you also have the option to create custom data fields inside of Nimble. So you can actually create up to 5 new tabs here, and then you get to create as many fields as you want under each individual tab here. So when I go back to segmentation, I'll show you how you can also segment on the custom fields that you may have created in Nimble. So I created a custom field called purchase date. And in this case, I want to see all the people that purchased from me in 2019. So they popped up here, and then I could send them a group message. I could export it into a CSV file. I could tag them, set up a stay in touch reminder, or mark them as important. And the last scenario I prepared was, again, using a tag inside of Nimble. And I created a tag for Nimble's marketing team. So on this example, I wanted to finally show you how you can utilize group messaging feature in Nimble. So let's say you use a bunch of filters to come up with segmented group of people, and now you would like to outreach to them. A Nimble group messaging is really useful. It wasn't created to blast your email list. So if maybe you're questioning if this is a tool that might help you replace MailChimp or another application that you're currently using to send your email newsletter, the answer is no, because this feature was actually designed to help you nurture relationships, but at scale, but by nurturing targeted groups. So we really want you to use the segmentation and figure out groups of people that maybe are at the same location or purchase at the same day. So you can really personalize the outreach to them. And the advantage of doing it this way, as opposed to blasting thousands and thousands of people that may have subscribed to your blog or got on your email list in a different way, is that you will see that if you create targeted groups of people and take time to tailor the message to them, you will see that you will get much better response rate. People will be clicking the links that you include in the message much more, and the response rate will be also much higher. So you can use it in small groups, just like I'm showing you now. You can just pick a few people on your team, and this feature in this case will just help you save some time, because instead of sending 5 emails, you can just send one. So I have some members of our marketing team here. I would just select them all here, click into send group message. Nimble also give you the option to add as many emails as you want. So in case you connected more, you could just select the one that you want the email to come from. The messaging in Nimble is very simple. So you would type in the subject line here. You could say, Happy Wednesday, and help Nimble to personalize it by using merge tags. So in this case, I would use merge tag based on first name, and then Nimble would go and automatically say, hi Garrett, hi Ajas, and so on. You can also have Nimble help you to further personalize it by attaching the company name. So it could say, how's everything at, and you could add the company name here. And we also allow you to attach a file. We have some basic formatting here, and you can also use unsubscribe link, which is really useful in the era of GDPR and just being compliant and aware of data privacy. So when you use the unsubscribe link option, people will be able to unsubscribe from your emails, and all these people will be tagged in Nimble. So for any of your future group message outreaches, you'll be able to exclude the group of people that unsubscribe from your outreach. Nimble also gives you the option to save templates. So if you find yourself retyping the a certain type of message over and over again, you can use the option to save it as a template here. If you have any existing templates in Nimble, you could just select it from here. One more thing that I wanted to point out here is the option to send yourself a test message. This is always a good idea, especially if you're sending large email outreach. It's always good to send it to yourself and make sure that the merge text work, everybody's first name was grabbed correctly, it's spelled correctly. If you include any links, it's always a good idea to click on them and make sure that they work, and also take a look if there may be any typos or anything like that. One thing that I also want to point out here is on the left side under recipients list, this is where you'll see the list of your recipients, all the people that you selected using Nimble segmentation. In case you use our segmentation and somebody who you do not have an email account for shows up on this list, they would show up under this tab called errors. I don't currently have anybody here who I don't have email address for, but in case I had somebody here, you would see their first name and last name here, and next to them you would see a little green button that you would be able to click on, and you would be able to use our contact discovery feature called Nimble Prospector that would allow you to find their contact information, save it to the contact record, and once that is done, they would show up on the recipients list. So when everything looks good and you're ready to send the group message, you would send to list. And I've actually already done it before our webinar. So because I wanted to show you what the open rates can look like. So once once you click send on the group message, you would land on this page, and this is where the list of all the group messages that you have sent in the past would show. And when you click on the one that you want to review further, this is where you would see all the stats about it. So you see how many people you send the email to, what is the open rate. So in this case, it's 60%. I didn't include any links in the email, so that's why it's 0 here. 40% of the people that I sent it to haven't seen the message. Nothing failed, which is good, and nobody unsubscribed, which is also good. So a question that we get a lot from our customers is if Nimble has a way to send a drip campaigns, or if we have any automated processes. This is something that we plan on implementing, but we do not have it yet. What Nimble is currently offering you to do is that you can always review the numbers next to the opens. So let's say if you send a group message email and you see that there's a lot of people that open your email more than 3 times or more than 5 times, and you still haven't heard back from them, you could manually select the people that responded more than once, twice, 3 times, whatever you decide, and then send them another message. You could also apply a tag to this group, maybe ask your coworker to take care of the follow-up. Or if you decide to send a message, you could potentially use another templated message to save you even more time. So at this point, I would like to make sure that we have enough time to answer questions that you may have. I would also like to cover the topics of our upcoming webinars. So if you've been enjoying these training webinars, you can sign up for the following one on August 14th, which will be all about getting things done in Nimble. We will review activities and how to make sure that you're properly logging all your follow-ups. We will cover all the different places where you can log in your follow-ups from. So the contact record, all our extensions, so how you can create follow-ups straight from your inbox, or if you're engaging with somebody on LinkedIn, how you can use the Nimble extension to quickly pull up records, either create new ones or update existing ones, and quickly create follow-ups for yourself or anybody on your team. And we will also include link to register for this webinar in our follow-up email today. And we will also be emailing our entire database next week, next Monday, with registration link. On August 28th, we will be taking a look on tracking deals in Nimble and setting up reports. So we will take a look at our multiple deals pipeline feature inside of Nimble. We will create a few of these pipelines. We will configure all the stages and look into what are all the other things that you might need in order to successfully create pipelines. On September 11th, we will talk all about how to prospect better and smarter with Nimble. So that's something that I quickly touched on today. We will basically focus on all the things in which Nimble can help you prospect better. Again, using the Nimble add-ins and prospecting on social media, company websites, and all different places that you can find prospects at. And on September 25th, we'll be focusing on using Nimble as a team. So we'll again review settings, make sure that everybody knows how to add more team members. We'll talk about privacy, delegating rights, and so on. We are also running a special offer today for new users. So if you have not signed up for Nimble yet, and you would like to, you can go to nimble.com/offer/webinar30, and we'll give you 30 days of Nimble for free. If you're currently in trial and you're interested in getting a few more days, 30 more days on your trial, just email us at care@nimble.com and we'll take care of it.